Coming to you live from the snowy dunes of Hoth, it's Echo-based radio, broadcasting to the farther corners of the Outer Rim in 12 parsecs.
Not 14.
Not 14. No. But, yeah, we chose Hoth because I don't like sand.
Nobody likes sand.
Although outside it's looking more like Camino right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what can you do?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So
Not
anyway,
anything.
oh yeah, but this is Blue Leader 99 and this is...
Green Leader 88.
And blue is my favorite lightsaber color.
And green is my favorite color.
So that means I'm a warrior and you're more in tune with the Force.
I am.
All right.
This is the way.
Yes. But anyway, we're doing this because, 1 year ago was the 5-year anniversary of The Last Jedi, and we decided that, well, that's a little bit of a preview taste. But we decided that we just wanted to, get into our own thing, talk about Star Wars, because we love Star Wars. We're going to tell you our history with Star Wars. But, we love all various aspects of Star Wars. There's some things we do like, some things we don't like, but we can all agree that as part of a community...
We all love all of it.
Right, but the thing that ties us together as a community is that it is a shared love of a property. We can agree to disagree on some things.
And our opinions on the show are strictly ours.
Correct.
We want to be respectful of what everybody likes. So if you like something that we don't, please don't get offended. This is just our viewpoints, and we will probably bring up
something that may upset you.
Yeah, or viewpoints that you don't agree with. But hey, it's our show, not yours. Sorry.
Well, but, as a community, let's try to be respectful, not toxic. Let's, let's have civil conversations because, it's a thing, because it's a love of a property. It's this bond. Mm-hmm. It binds the galaxy together.
Surrounds us and binds the community together.
Absolutely. So, our history with Star Wars. I was first introduced to Star Wars when I was about 5 or 6 years old. This was around the time that the original box set of the original trilogy was out. And that was when my dad introduced me to all of them. And after I had really gotten into Star Wars, it started this period where my dad would be watching another movie that another actor would appear in. He would call me out of my room. He would be like, "Come here." And I'd be like, "What?" And Bridge on the River Kwai would be on TV, and he would point to a character and say, "Do you know who that is?" And I would be like, "No." And he's like, "That's Obi-Wan." And I would be like, "Oh." Or he would call me out when American Graffiti was on, and he was like, "Listen to Han Solo sing." And I was just like, "Oh, again." But then I got to experience the special editions in theaters. Then I was 8 years old when episode 1 came out, so I was in the prime demographic for that when it originally came out. Grew up with the prequels, played a lot of video games, had a lot of toys, had bedsheet sets, and I let out a groan when I saw that Disney had purchased Lucasfilm, because I was just like, we don't really, I don't know. Do we really need, well, it wasn't really my opinion that they were going to make bad Star Wars, but it was just like, do we need another trilogy? Because that was the headline that I saw. Mm-hmm. Disney purchases Lucasfilm for $4 billion, new trilogy in the works. And I didn't really want another trilogy. And in the current era of Star Wars that we're in right now, which has been known as the Disney era, there's been good, there's been bad.
There's been really bad.
But we will get into those in later episodes. But now, let's turn it over to Green Leader.
All right, so pretty much echoing all what Blue said, my first Star Wars, I pretty much grew up with Star Wars from an early age. The first movie I saw in theaters was the re-release of Empire that my dad took me to. And then, I grew up with the prequels, saw all those in theaters. But yeah, Star Wars has always been a huge part of me. Like he said, I had everything from movies to toys, banks, all that good stuff. And it's just something that, as an adult, I've grown into having more of an appreciation for, because I see like the underlining tones and themes that the movies have that you kind of just don't pick up on when you're younger.
Right.
Just some like the little intricacies that you could tell, like Lucas, the seeds that he sowed throughout the entire saga. Yeah, and then when Disney bought Lucasfilm, the same way, there was that slight hesitation. It's like, this, because to me Star Wars was something sacred, and like I don't want, without George being as involved as he was, I really didn't see it being that great. And there's been some hits, some misses, but for the most part, it's an amazing thing to be a Star Wars fan. This community is great, and this is why we're doing this show.
Right. And I do have to ask you one question. Were you, during the prequel era, were you ever in the camp of George Lucas is bad, I don't like him anymore?
No, because as far as the prequels go, I actually enjoyed all of them. Yes, I enjoyed Phantom.
I do too.
But yeah, I never really had any bad viewpoints about George.
Right.
And where he wanted the saga to go.
Right. Because, as he said, this is a story that he wanted to tell. And, I just feel like, towards the end of his career, he was bullied into retirement, is the viewpoint that I see, because he got hate for the prequels. He got hate for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, even though throughout the entire Indiana Jones saga, he has never directed any of them. He's only been a producer, and it was his idea that Spielberg has, masterfully crafted. We may get into Indiana Jones on this show, but who knows? But, and then, I still haven't seen Strange Magic or Red Tails, which he produced.
Neither.
And then, from what I heard, not only was he bullied into retirement, he was bullied to give up Star Wars as a whole as well. Because, from what I heard, the tale goes that Bob Iger took him out to lunch and basically said, "Look, George, you're getting old. Your kids don't want this. Why don't you give it to me? I'll know what to do with it." And George was like, "Oh, well, sure. I mean, it's
all about the money."
Yeah. Well, I mean, even after the movies are failing bad, I know that he was probably laughing all the way to the bank, but at the same time, he was probably very sad, and he has expressed his sadness in interviews with.
Well, that's your baby, and it's like giving up like custody rights for your kid. Is how I kind of look at it. Like that was his creation, that was his baby, and to just hand that over, I could understand like the kind of levity he would feel, like this is off my shoulders, I don't have to stress about this. But then again, it's like when you see your creation in somebody else's hands, you're always like, oh,
yeah,
I wouldn't have done that, or that's awesome.
Yeah, and there was also that tension there because he was like, if I wanted to do the sequel trilogy the way I would do it, it would just take 10 more years out of my life. And the man wants to spend time with his kids.
Yeah.
And even in the infamous Charlie Rose interview that he did, he said that he wants his tombstone to say that he was a good father, not the creator of all these movies, that he was a good dad. And I have to say, for a man who's created what was at one point the zenith of pop culture, that's pretty humble.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, George, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but we love you, man.
Oh, he's a big fan. I was emailing him this week.
Just like when he unintentionally showed up in the background of that documentary and like stood and stared at the camera before entering into that building. I have no idea what documentary that is, but
I just saw the
we need to
clip.
find it. Yeah. There was another one where they played like the Order 66 theme when he was walking into the building, and I think he like ignited a lightsaber when he was walking in. So like, you know, who knows what he was gonna do in there.
Again.
I gotta teach him a lesson.
Execute Order 66. Oh, man.
George.
Georgie.
Oh, George, we love you, man. We do. You gave us, you know, some of the greatest moments of our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was in a sold-out theater for episode 3, and hearing the entire auditorium erupt in cheer when your company logo came on the screen. That is, I mean, that's something I will never forget. And then the John Williams fanfare starts, everyone cheers again because, like, you know, this is episode 3. This is the moment this is the moment that we were waiting for.
Culmination.
The culmination. We finally get to see how Anakin becomes Darth Vader. And George, with episode 3, I mean, personally, there's small details that I don't like, but overall, you created a masterpiece. But we're going to get into episode 3 in later episodes.
Yes, we will.
But now, it's time to give our audience a little bit of a preview taste of where we rank these in a tier list. So I'm sure all of you have been familiar with Tier Maker for the past year or two. I just
found out about it when he told me.
Oh yeah, well, this is a thing that apparently I've seen more of. But apparently, we're going to get a little bit of a sneak preview as to where we stand within the community as far as the films go. We will get into other stuff like television series, video games, food tie-ins.
Dry chokey.
This guy's going to be doing the toys. Because I just played with the toys. This guy collects them. And he puts them in pristine. He keeps them in pristine condition. Some of them. He's basically Al from Toy Story 2. If he got a call from like a Japanese toy collector to put everything in a museum for a high price, you would do it, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yo, you want me to move to Japan to sell toys? Alrighty, let's go.
Yeah, Japan's a great country.
I would love to go there.
I've been there.
Oh, I know.
And I want to go back. Well, there were some things I didn't get to do, but hey, I've seen more Kurosawa than you.
I'm just thinking about the Asian girls.
That was a George Lucas influence. We may talk about Kurosawa films on here. He needs to see Rashomon.
I don't know what that is. Sorry.
It's basically one of his greatest films ever made.
Ah.
It's basically two peasants recounting a trial that one of them was a witness in, which involved like a samurai, his new bride, and some like lunatic that they come across in the woods, and it's like basically a tale of like lies, intrigue, and rape, and we don't know who's telling the truth. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Grabs my attention.
Oh yeah, and it's for free, currently speaking, on a streaming service known as Canopy. For everyone out there, it starts with a K, and you just got to link your library card. Do you know what a library card is? We're from a generation where you had to check out books if you wanted to complete a school project. I remember those days. And my family was always behind on the times. So if we wanted to print something out, we had to go to the library and print it out, and we had to pay, like, per page.
My mom would just print stuff out at her work.
We didn't. We seriously did not get our first computer until like 2000.
Ours was like 96 or 97. I remember the thing that amazed me the most. We had this old Dell computer.
Right.
And I remember it came with this disc of like, it was an encyclopedia, but it had
Like the official Britannica?
I think so.
Okay.
But it had like pictures and like videos you could see on it,
Oh.
and to me, like, that was the most amazing thing, because like you could like view like videos from space, videos from Africa, and this is before we had all these computers in our pockets. Like, we had internet the dial-up way.
Oh yeah.
So seeing all this for the first time, like, it was incredible. But
oh yeah.
now y'all kids are spoiled today. You have phones when you're 5 years old, so.
And you have like pristine 4K and 8K documentaries on National Geographic where you can see like
Yep.
like the flies on a giraffe's face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're old, man. We didn't get that.
Yeah. I mean, like, like that one guy said in The People versus George Lucas, which we'll talk about on the show. We're old. Ain't gonna be like it was that summer of 77.
Granted, we are not that old.
No, we're not that old. Like we said, we grew up in the 90s. We're 90s kids.
Yeah.
So, but enough about us.
Late 80s, 90s.
Yeah, late 80s, 90s. So, that's why he's the 8s. That's why I'm the 9s. But then again, I'm a bit hesitant that I took the Blue title because Blue Squadron got completely blown up in like an instant in the original hand-drawn Clone Wars.
Hey, that was all you, bro.
But blue's my favorite color.
You all die.
Well, let's go ahead and start. So if any of you are familiar with the tier ranking, S for Supreme, like the Supreme Leader. And then you have A, B, C, F, or A, B, C, D, F? No, A, B, C, D, F. A, B, C, D, F. Okay, so it's like a normal school grading scale. So, let's go ahead.
Away we go!
And we're back. Ta-da! All right, so like I said before, it's time to rank. You're going to get a preview, but don't worry. We're going to be talking about each and every single one of these movies in their own special dedicated episode. So you will be able to get our full extent, but this is just a preview. So, we're starting off we're going to be doing this in order of release. So, starting off with the one that started it all, 1977's Star Wars.
Yes.
Or for you newer people out there, A New Hope. No. It's Star Wars.
Wow. When I was first watching Star Wars, the first one didn't even have a number.
Yeah, it didn't. If you kids want to go out there and try to find a copy of the original, there's no number, there's no A New Hope. It's just the title crawl, because this was like planned as like a one and done deal. Who knows where it could have gone. But Lucas had some foresight, and when he was signing the deal to make it, he said, I want all merchandise rights and I want all sequel rights. And because of that, he is a very rich man.
He's a man who knows what he wants.
Yes. So, 1977 Star Wars, where are we ranking it? I mean, for me personally, as the one that started it all, we wouldn't even be here without it.
Is there any question?
Yeah, it's S rank.
Yeah.
So you go at the top. All right. And again, real name for our next one, 1980's The Empire Strikes Back. I mean, the Star Wars title was in it because at this point it was becoming a series, but it was just The Empire Strikes Back. And I know that for a lot of people, this is like the pinnacle of Star Wars. We'll get into more of that in its own episode, but you also have to remember that we wouldn't have Empire without the original. But since Empire is, just a supreme film considering what it does, it's S rank for me as well.
Absolutely. And Empire really set the stage. Like, we were talking about, like, Star Wars wasn't planned as a trilogy. So when he was designing Empire, he kind of had to build upon things that he, like, just little things in the first one that, just may have been like throwaway lines. Like, a good example is the line where Ben is talking about the Clone Wars.
Right.
Back when the movie came out, that's Clone Wars. What is that? That was just a one-off line. And then later on, he expanded on that and just what that was with, the prequels and then the Clone Wars TV show as well.
Yeah, and even again with Empire itself, he was also able to expand and build the relationships between the characters because in the beginning of the original Star Wars, Han was a smuggler who was only in it for himself, but then he came back to help, and then in Empire, you can definitely tell that he's a changed man because when Luke doesn't come back to base and Han has to go out and rescue him, one of the base operators says, "Sir, you can't go out there. There's a blizzard coming in." And Han goes, "That's right, and my friend is out there in it."
And I feel like if he hadn't gone through what he did in the first movie, like, Han would be like, "All right, lock her up."
Yeah, I mean,
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have changed. He would have gotten his money, but then again...
Because he was just in it for himself.
Yeah, but then again, that would have been the end of the rebellion. I mean,
roll credits!
Yeah,
Luke
seriously.
dies. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we will. Just a little tidbit, there are some things I like about that movie.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. But then again... Wrapping off the original trilogy, 1983's Return of the Jedi, the perfect Star Wars movie in my opinion, the way to end a trilogy, and just everything you could want from a Star Wars movie.
And I didn't really know until recently that it's not really a good thing to like Return of the Jedi isn't hailed as a good movie.
Yeah.
I would say. It left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, which I don't know what they're talking about. Like when I first saw it, I loved it.
Yeah, I know that the Ewoks get on some people's nerves. I know that there are some people out there who also say that it's a rehash of the original because, there's another Death Star, but I think that with each of these movies in the original trilogy, they all have their own vibe. The original is a nostalgic throwback that was revolutionary for its time. Empire knew how to set up not only a darker chapter but a cliffhanger, and the third one is just the classic ending of good triumphing over evil.
Well, Jedi is a great culmination of everything that he set out to do in the originals. It wraps up every story perfectly.
Yeah, and even as Poe Dameron himself, Oscar Isaac, said in an interview, he agrees that Empire is the better made film, but he likes Return of the Jedi as his favorite Star Wars movie.
I'll agree to that.
Yeah.
I'll drink to that.
That's it. Well, yeah. Let's drink to that. For those of you out there, we are not consuming alcoholic beverages. This is a family-friendly show.
That comes later.
So we do the do. Well, for you, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Chronological order. The one that started the what some might consider to be the downfall of Star Wars, but we are entering the prequel era, the Phantom Menace.
I like the prequels.
I like the Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas wanted to, he wanted to tell the story of the fall of Anakin Skywalker over a completely new trilogy, and that is perfect. I know that it has its detractors. There are some things that even annoyed me as a child.
Mm-hmm.
But watching it with the eyes of an adult, it's not as bad as people thought it was.
Well, I think for me, like when I first saw it, and like a lot of people, your initial viewing is as a child.
Yeah.
So like I know,
I was 8 when it came out.
Yeah. And I know Phantom has a lot of political plot threads sewn in through it. That as a kid, while you're watching it, that just goes over your head. Like you're like,
yeah,
come on, I just want to see lightsabers and people blasting at each other.
Yeah,
but
I know that these are the good guys, these are the bad guys.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about all this crap.
Yeah,
but as an adult, you really understand. Like, okay, what exactly? Like, I as an adult, I enjoy the world building.
Oh yeah,
and to me, like that was perfect. And yeah, Phantom Menace was a little slower.
Yeah,
I get that, but you have to understand, it was setting up a whole new settings, whole new cast of people.
Oh,
some we've heard of and mentioned. But yeah, it's...
Or even younger versions of pre-established characters. So, like, you have to see their beginnings.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So, yeah, it is going to be a little slower and not as action-heavy.
Right.
And I looking back at it, I enjoy the political aspect of it. And, it really sets up... I think it does a good job of setting up how the state of the galaxy when we see it in the original trilogy.
Right, because, like, this is the point in this universe where the Jedi, the Guardians of Peace, are starting to fall.
Mm-hmm.
But, we'll get into all that in its own episode, but can we agree best character in that movie is Qui-Gon?
Oh, absolutely. Hands down. He has a very specific set of skills.
Skills that make Sith a nightmare for people like me. That make me a nightmare for Sith like them. And also, Duel of the Fates.
Perfect John Williams score.
Johnny Boy, you're going to get your own episode. We're going to have an entire music episode. So, is it supreme? Is it as supreme as the originals?
I wouldn't rank it as high as the originals. Personally, I would give it a B rating.
I think I would put it there too, because it's just... I mean, like, there's still some stuff in it that I don't like, but watching it through the eyes of an adult, I appreciate, the world building, the political aspect, seeing the beginnings of pre-established characters, seeing new characters that really make an impression in this movie. And because, some of these characters we never even see again, like come on, Lucasfilm, why haven't we had a Captain Panaka spin-off movie? I mean, come on.
He was awesome, man.
And, okay, moving on. Attack of the Clones, Episode 2. For those of you who don't know, my least favorite Star Wars movie out of the original saga.
For ranking like the last 40 minutes, I'd put it as an A.
Yeah, but the entire movie is not the last 40 minutes.
Yeah. All right, Attack of the Clones. I understand what it was trying to do, but I just would have done it very differently. Like I said, like if Phantom Menace was the build up and the world building, I think Attack of the Clones should have had more action to it.
Yeah, for a movie called Attack of the Clones, we only get to see
15 minutes
the start of the Clone Wars. and then we do a big time jump to episode 3, and we see the end of the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So, would another movie have helped?
Yeah.
Well, technically, we did, but it was a pilot to a show that told us the Clone Wars.
Or just cut out some of the unnecessary stuff.
Like sand.
Like sand.
And the sand people.
No. We've gotten too much fun out of that. Leave that in.
And not just the men.
The women and the children too.
So, personally, I would put it in D rank. And the reason I'm putting it there is just because of that last 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I concur.
I mean, you know, those beasts. I'm an uber Star Wars nerd, and I know their names, but I'm not going to say them as an adult because when I do, I sound stupid. So I'll just refer to them as what they look like. I think that big crab had a cool sound. Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, see, like, that whole Geonosian sequence, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was top tier Star Wars.
And I'm glad that we also got to see where the clones came from. I do like the Camino scenes. Those are cool.
Yeah. Like, if they would have dialed back on on a lot of the Anakin Padme stuff, and expanded more, like you said, on the Camino stuff, or the Geonosia stuff.
Expand more on the Django stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
the father of Boba Fett is cooler than Boba Fett himself.
I just think Attack of the Clones had too much going on, and it didn't really give everything its due exposure.
Yeah.
Like, you had the Padme protection plot, you had the Clone Wars itself going on, you had the clone storyline going on, and
you also had Detective Obi-Wan going on.
Yeah, that.
The love story going on. The you know, I gotta rescue my mom subplot, and
his mom, the whole Tatooine thing. It's like,
yeah. But I mean, at least he got to see his stepbrother.
I don't know. Like, he comes off as a creeper in that movie. Like, he's just a pervy old man.
Who Anakin or
Lars.
Owen?
Mars.
Oh, Klieg Lars. Shmee's my wife.
It's like, all right, you're a little creepy guy. You sure you don't have her locked in a basement somewhere?
Well, I mean, look at what the Tuscans were doing to her. I mean, like, at least he not only freed her from slavery, but I mean, he married her, so there was some love there.
Yeah.
So, but moving on.
Moving right along. Revenge of the Jedi. Wait.
Revenge of the Sith.
That one.
Yes. This is definitely A rank for me. Best of the prequels.
Absolutely.
It's got some good pieces in the soundtrack. Great acting from certain members of the cast. I personally think that Ian McDiarmid carries this movie. I think he carries this movie, and
I would say he carries
the entire prequel trilogy. And
sorry, I don't mean
no,
to cut you off.
you're
But
fine.
bringing Ian McDiarmid back was a beautiful move, and
making him look younger too.
Yeah, because I honestly had to look it up because when it first came out, I had no clue that was the same actor that played him in Return of the Jedi. Like, I knew like the voices were eerily similar,
right?
And then I looked up the cast list and was like, holy crap, he is Palpatine.
Yeah. Do you like the little thing that you think that maybe they were trying to do where they kept his face concealed every time he was in the black robe to make you maybe think like, oh, like, you know, this might be some dude that we don't know.
I appreciate them doing it, but like we see what we're doing. we see what we're doing.
And yeah. And I don't know if you'll...
the same, the nose is the same, it's like...
The voice is the same.
Because, I mean...
You've had that same robe for like 60 years.
Yeah. It's like, okay. Well, and also like, old robed Sith, we think Palpatine.
Yeah.
Oh, here is Chancellor Palpatine. Oh, wait a minute.
But remember, they never said Palpatine in the original trilogy. We had to connect those dots, remember?
Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so
They never did.
yeah. So like, going back to the Darth Sidious thing, that could have been a mystery as to be like, oh, maybe this is not the Emperor, maybe this is like, some other guy.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean,
they never say Emperor Palpatine.
Because us, the Star Wars nerds, we always know him as Palpatine, but I never really put that together that they never actually called him that originally.
Yeah, I mean, he was always just the Emperor in the original trilogy.
Well, look at me learning something new.
You have done well, Zach. But before we put this in our agreed upon A rank,
Yes.
There may be some detractors, but Anakin and Obi-Wan on Mustafar, best lightsaber duel we've ever had.
Hands down.
So,
Hands down.
I mean, it's just so full of anger and passion and so good.
Very well choreographed too.
Oh yeah, Nick Swardson,
Beautifully
you
shot.
rock.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you know that he was actually part of the security hologram in the temple?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The did you ever play the episode 3 video game? That was like the movie tie-in game.
I rented it a couple times from
Do
Blockbuster, but
you remember the Jedi that was known as Sin Dralig?
no. Sorry.
We'll get into that in
sorry
our
to
episode
disappoint.
3 video.
It's like I need to replay that game.
Okay, so Revenge of the Sith. Then we hit like a little bit of a quiet period, but then we found out, hey, Star Wars is back. We're gonna actually get that Clone War that we've been talking about. The only thing is that it's gonna be a TV show on Cartoon Network. Maybe intended for children, but adults can get into it too. But guess what? We're releasing the first 3 episodes as a pilot movie going to theaters called Star Wars The Clone Wars.
But wait, we already had Star Wars The Clone Wars.
This is different. This isn't the same guy.
But it's the same Clone Wars.
Yeah, but that original one wasn't canon when Disney's going to buy us in 4 years.
Yeah.
So all joking aside, the pilot movie for the Clone Wars, I mean, it's enjoyable, but I guess maybe if you try to view it as a standalone movie in as part of a movie series, it doesn't hold up that well. But if you put it in the context of the show with the movies, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
But as a standalone movie, I mean, it's okay. I'd put it as D.
Yeah, I mean, it's been years since I've seen that one. And I would agree with D. And this is just my personal taste. I'm not really a fan of the animation style of the Clone Wars.
It got better as the show went along.
Yeah, it did, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just
You don't like the wooden hair and the wooden faces that look like they were carved.
Nah, it looks too puppety.
Is it like Uncanny Valley, like the Polar Express or CGI Tarkin in Rogue One?
No, no, it doesn't really creep me out.
Okay.
I just don't really think it looks that good.
No.
I mean, that's personal choice. I know. I mean, I haven't seen the series.
I know that there are people out there who love the show.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I've only seen a few episodes here and there, so I can't really comment.
Yeah.
But I've heard great things about the series. I'm just not a fan of the animation style.
And for those of you out there who do love the show, my first episode was the one where we got introduced to Rookies. That was the name of the episode. That was my first episode. I know that that's a highly regarded episode. So if any of you out there are Clone Wars aficionados, hopefully you appreciate that. But moving on. Will we say that this is the dark times?
It was the dark times.
But it started out as a beacon of hope.
And that's what stings the most, because it started out with a lot of great possibilities.
The Force Awakens was a great launching point with potential. It just went off the rails when you later learn that they didn't even have an outline for where they wanted this trilogy to go.
It definitely shows. It definitely shows.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really hold up that well on repeat viewings, and I'm not going to say that the movie fooled us, but I was pulled in when I first saw it. I was pulled in. I was mad that the only thing we got from Luke was, a silent 2-minute appearance at the end of the movie, because, like, this whole movie, well...
You didn't even get 2 minutes.
Yeah, but, like, that's the thing that I learned about when they were writing. They were like, if we introduce Luke at any point in this movie, it's going to detract from the new characters that we want to introduce. But it's just like, well, you have the majority of people who are coming back.
It's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah,
everybody's here to see Luke.
We
Skywalker.
came to see Luke, Han, and Leia. Maybe Lando.
Oh man, Lando.
Well. We love you, Lando.
We do. Billy D, much love.
Yeah,
much
Billy
love
D,
to you, brother.
Yeah, much love. What was that commercial that he did? It was like for cigarettes or some sort of beer company, and he was like the spokesperson for it.
I don't remember.
Well,
I remember he was
in
Lieutenant
that
Gordon in Batman. No,
Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent in Batman.
And he was in that movie Brian's Song.
Yeah. But yeah, like The Force Awakens, first time I saw it, I was really excited. First of all, to see these classic characters again. And they really had a lot of ideas that I really thought were great.
Yeah.
That I thought would be expanded on in cool ways. That just kind of went nowhere, or just, like you said, just completely went off the rails.
Yeah, I mean, Rey's Force vision alone shows the potential where they could have gone.
We got a whole conversation about Rey, but that's another episode.
So, are we putting this in... Well, I mean, we have to see these as their own films. So, for the potential that it had, but it still is like that thing where it just doesn't hold up well on repeat viewings... I would put it probably as a D.
Yeah.
I mean,
If
it
we're
doesn't
If
fail.
we're not looking at what came after, just looking at that individually.
Yeah, because like once you see it the first time, none of the surprises hit you as hard. Because I remember when I first saw it on opening day, my auditorium cheered when the Millennium Falcon first appeared.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I cheered when the Millennium Falcon appeared. But yeah, I concur.
Yeah. Now we got our first spin-off movie that I wish would have kept up with this idea of just doing individual movies on offshoot characters or just within the larger context of the story, but Rogue One, a Star Wars story, the movie that you should not get attached to any of the characters.
Because they all die. Spoiler alert.
But I did get attached to one.
K2SO.
K2SO. You're my boy. So, I like that they finally explained why there was an open air conditioner on the Death Star.
Yeah.
I like that. That was good that they finally explained it, and it was a smart thing too. It was a smart way to do it, because it's like the architect who hates the Empire, so I'm going to make them vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, and plus it makes sense rewatching. So, like, you just don't. Oh, why would the Empire just leave this blatantly obvious exposed weakness? Like,
Yeah.
Who got fired because of that?
Yeah.
But it was pre-planned. Like, that was the idea. That was the goal.
Have you ever seen that meme of the depressed stormtrooper sitting on the side of his bed looking down at the floor, and it says, "I had friends on that Death Star"?
Which one? I had friends on both.
Well, technically there's 4.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to planet destroyers, how can you go above that? But like Spider-Man 3 told us, the greatest battle lies within.
More! Rogue One, I really liked it.
I do
as a
too.
movie.
I mean, especially, again, it's got the Attack of the Clones thing where it's like that last hour on Scarif.
Oh, yeah.
That just it just completely elevates it, but when you got that ending with Vader, oh, that was just
Perfect.
I mean, that was the Force Unleashed Vader that
That was the Vader we all wanted to see. Raw, unfiltered, just unhinged, throwing people around. Just.
yeah, just like I mean, this is the Anakin Skywalker that became evil and doesn't give a crap anymore.
Nope.
until he finds out that he had a son. But I don't know. Do you think the movie kind of starts off a little slow? That it maybe drags in the Jeddah stuff a little bit, and maybe
It does, and like,
maybe the whole rainy rock planet thing is dragged out a bit too much as well.
And honestly, like I like the movie.
I do too.
Don't really. I didn't really attach to any of the characters. Like they were all okay. Like the actors did good in their roles, but
yeah, I mean, like I didn't cry when any of them died or anything.
Like
that.
there was like nothing really special. Like even Andor. Like I know he has his own show. Like, but I honestly didn't really like his character. Like
for the role
he did a great job, but
for the role that he does in the movie, like it works.
Yeah,
but other than that,
I didn't really care about his character. I was like, all right, you're cool, I guess. You're a good actor.
But I mean, it's pretty sad when all of your flesh and blood people get overshadowed by a robot.
Yeah,
a cool robot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry, droid.
Come on, man, don't be racist.
But wait a minute, Luke in the original. But if they trace the robots here, Rogue One is a C for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we get to the divisive entry that outdid The Phantom Menace and has remained the splinter film ever since. Episode 8, The Last Jedi. This is where Green and I start to shake our heads.
The collective Star Wars community shakes their heads.
But there are people who probably shake their heads in a way that's like, I wish you could see what I see because I love this movie.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, and I get that.
Yeah.
I mean,
no disrespect to the people out there who love this movie.
No, I mean, like you like what you like.
Yeah.
And I don't want to disregard that, disregard that at all. You're very valid. These are just our opinions.
Yeah, and your experience that you know, whether it was emotional or whatever, that is completely valid and it's all yours and you own it. But this is just the way we feel regarding a certain movie. And I mean, we'll talk about what we like and what we dislike in its own episode, but what it did and how it completely undermined the potential that was set up with The Force Awakens, it gets an F for me.
It was, yeah, I agree. It was kind of like Ryan was trying to be too different. Like, he was like, all right, let's take everything the fans are expecting to see or want to see and just turn it on its head.
Yeah, and when I first saw it, I really loved it. I was like, they did something different. It makes it better. But then,
And when you start thinking about it,
and then I heard people being like, "This is not my Luke Skywalker," and I was like, "Well, yeah, it's called character progression." But then when you start to think about it and who Luke is and what he represents, and
it was more of a regression.
yeah,
I mean, I get growth and I get you wanting to have your characters with personal struggles.
right,
But everything about Luke in that movie was just so out of character to what has already been previously established
right,
for him.
right, and I
And
mean,
it was just so far out of left field.
right,
Like even, I mean, if you follow Mark Hamill, you know his opinions on what they did to his character.
yeah,
When the
and
man himself flat out says, "I do not like what you did with the character. I don't think this is Luke at
this
all."
is Jake Skywalker.
Jake Skywalker. But yeah, like that. And to me, like, I don't. If I was Rian Johnson, and I knew Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, had these concerns about a character that is his most iconic role.
Yeah,
Like you would want to take his notes into consideration, because who better knows the character than the man himself?
right, and but at that point, you'd have to put the movie on hold because you'd have to rewrite the entire script.
I'd have been fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we waited 3 years in between movies when they were originally coming out, but Disney's like, one Star Wars movie per year. And then
this is the quality we get.
And then The Last Jedi comes out, and when people don't like it, they're just like, oh, it's Star Wars fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
For 3 movies. Yeah. No. Why do you think we've stayed with this thing for going on 50 years? Mm-hmm. Even though we're not that old. But there was one thing. Oh, yeah. I mean, in regards to the isolation, we'll get into this. This is not a Yoda isolation.
No.
Like,
Yoda,
I mean,
Yoda
like,
had
I mean,
a good reason why
Yoda knew he failed,
Yep.
but, you know, I don't know if they ever explained it in, like, a book or something, but did he know? Oh, no. Yeah. He did know that the children were born because he was there. He witnessed it. He knew that they had to be kept safe, and I guess he was on maybe the same path of Obi-Wan, that he knew that he would have to at least train one of them, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, he had to stay alive, but it was never like, one of these things where a Jedi fails, and because he fails, he has to sever his connection with the Force and just
goes
live
into a
out.
corner and cries for years.
Yeah, essentially, but we'll get into all that later.
That would be a fun discussion.
Well, it's coming. But then we got our next spin-off that further divided the fan base. Well, that stoked the fires of an already divided fan base, and because it didn't perform well, they scrapped the anthology concept altogether, which I hate that they did. But and also the first Star Wars movie to ever fail financially, Solo, a Star Wars story.
Didn't need to happen.
Correct.
Didn't need to happen. Nobody wanted it.
No, nobody wanted
Nobody
it.
asked for it.
Someone tried to salvage it by doing a Harrison Ford deep fake with one of the scenes, but it still doesn't help.
The only good thing about Solo is knowing that Darth Maul is still alive.
But why? Why is he the head of a crime syndicate instead of a Sith?
We don't know. They never told us.
Are we going to ever find out?
Probably not. Maybe in a comic book.
But aren't they supposed to do a Lando spinoff for Disney Plus
God,
at
no.
some point?
Oh, no.
I heard that it was
No.
going to be...
No!
No, listen. I heard that it was going to be Donald Glover, but it was going to
No!
but it's going to be narrated by Billy D.
All right,
I don't know if it's still in the works,
that's
though.
not bad. Oh, God.
It fails. Solo fails on all levels. Young Han
It's
just...
gonna be episode after episode of Lando chasing that robot booty. No, like
She becomes the ship.
I don't even recognize that as canon.
I don't either, because you just look at the Millennium Falcon, and when Han's just like, "You hear me, baby, hold together," it's just a ship.
Yeah, no.
I'm sure that in between this movie and episode 4, he took that crap out.
Mm.
He had to.
Nope.
But then, I mean, I hated the look that the Millennium Falcon had at the beginning. It's a stupid look.
Mm-hmm.
But then when they crash and Han says, "It looks better now."
Yeah.
And Lando's just like, "I hate you."
You know why they changed the Millennium Falcon, right?
For
At the beginning?
For Solo?
Yeah.
Why?
To sell more toys. You think I'm joking?
I mean, I saw it in stores and I was just like, no, this doesn't work.
But that way, they can give you 2 versions of the Millennium Falcon. One undamaged, one damaged, where it actually is the Millennium Falcon.
But I saw that with that toy, you could take out that piece. So you could have the 2.
I mean, they may have made one, but I remember like two different ones.
All for the toys.
All for the toys, man.
All for the toys. But you probably know more about, well, you probably do know more about this than me. Do the toys make more money than the movies?
I don't honestly know.
Okay.
There's been a crap ton of toys, so...
And a lot of them are sitting in discount bins.
Mainly
now.
Sequel trilogy figures.
F.
Is there a spot below F?
Unfortunately not.
Oh, because I would put that there.
And now, the culmination of everything. The great error
Hold on,
has been
Let me go get my trash can, because that's exactly where this movie is supposed to go.
But I still have it. I still have your copy, and I remember you were just like, you can...
You can keep it, burn it, trash it. Use it as a coaster, I don't care. Did you even watch it?
I promised my sister that the first time I would watch it would be with her. It's been 4 years. It's been going on 4 years. The only footage I've seen has been from other reviewers. So I basically have already seen the movie.
You're not... Yeah, you don't need to put yourself through that. I did in theaters. I regret it.
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to go ahead and put it in F because it's just bad all around, just from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But it makes
that movie was fan service, but in the worst way possible.
Well,
it's like they tried too hard to overcorrect what people hated about the other 2 movies.
I just think that they were just done with it and they just didn't care anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, JJ pretty much just had to come in and clean up the mess that Ryan made.
Yeah, but in the end, it just made everyone...
In the end, everything inside, even though I tried, it all fell apart. Eventually, you will be a memory of a time when I tried so hard. All right.
Copyright.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But when you look at it and knowing what could have been if you had read Colin Trevorrow's original script and had seen original concept ideas, it would have been a much better ending. But to me, like some other people, you can completely disregard the sequel trilogy, even though it exists, and still view Return of the Jedi as the ending.
Sequel trilogy's fan fiction for me.
Yeah. But have you ever seen any of the original concept art of The Rise of Skywalker and some of the stuff that they were wanting to do? Have you ever seen the stuff of Kylo going through like an abandoned, derelict Coruscant and like the ruins of the Jedi Temple being guarded by some wolves?
Oh yeah. See, why didn't we get that?
I mean, I would have loved to have seen, like, why would that have happened? Like, the center of the political center of the galaxy, abandoned and in ruins. A planet that is in it, like, wait, hold on. In episode 1, the entire planet is one big city. Completely abandoned. When in other versions, like, the First Order has basically taken over, and you get, like, Big Brother holograms of, like, propaganda and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see how a bustling city like Coruscant could be abandoned.
Yeah, I mean, you have, like, lines of traffic, millions of people.
It's like Japan.
Pretty much. So I got to see, basically, what Coruscant could be. I mean, seriously, that would have been a good cliffhanger from another movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how could this thriving city just get completely abandoned? Like, what would have happened? Would it have been genocide? Were people fleeing as another thing took over? Like, what is going on?
No, wait for the comic books. It'll all be revealed.
In the video games.
Right? They can't answer anything in movies anymore.
No, I heard that they even tried to salvage stuff from the movies by putting them in books. Like,
when you have to backtrack and try to explain your way out of stuff, like, you've just written a bad script. Like,
well, have you heard? Do you remember the Phasma book that came out? Where they explained her armor and why it's blaster proof?
Of course.
Do you know where it comes from?
To block blasters. I'm assuming that's why it's blaster proof, so she doesn't die.
No. It was salvaged from one of Palpatine's yachts.
Sure. Sure. I'm just picturing Palpatine now in his little swim shorts, shirt off, hair blowing in the wind.
No. He still has the hood.
Hood blowing in the wind. Oh, this dress, get a nice breeze.
Palpatine's yacht. But is it like on the water, or is it like, a sail barge like what Jabba had?
Give me a movie about that. I want to see how Palpatine...
Weekend at Pappy's.
Oh, no.
Palpies. We have to... It could be like Palpies. Weekend at Bernie's. He's not dead, but he looks dead, so they feel like they have to. It could be his two aides from the prequels, like, that blue guy and the other guy. They could be, like, dragging him around.
He actually survived Rise of Skywalker. People found... Oh, God.
They pulled his body out of the reactor before the second Death Star blew up, and they decided to go on vacation with him.
They needed his name to sign over the yacht. Oh, man.
But whereas Weekend at Bernie's got a sequel, we didn't get one with this.
Thank God. I don't think I wanted a sequel to Rise of Skywalker. Unless it's a weird spin-off like that.
They're trying to salvage this thing, but we don't even know when another Star Wars movie is going to come out. The Damon brothers got canned. Patty Jenkins got canned. What?
What?
Patty Jenkins.
I said good.
Oh, good? You didn't like Wonder Woman?
I liked the first Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
The second Wonder Woman was trash.
But Mando's in it.
Yeah, I know. He's the only good part of the movie. So yeah,
we don't know when another Star Wars movie is coming out. The latest rumor has been it's going to be like like a buddy movie or something with Rey and Grogu, but I don't know.
Are you serious?
Rumor. So take it with a grain of salt.
No.
Hasn't been confirmed. It's just one of those things that's floating out there. But do us a favor.
Leave Ray out of it.
Well,
honestly, just start over. Like, I want to see a High Republic movie. Like, something set in that era. I don't care to see any of the legacy characters. Like, just do your own thing. Don't
no
rush
more
it.
Skywalkers.
No Skywalkers, no fan service, nothing. Just make a good movie.
Yeah.
I
mean, like, you don't even have to base it off of a fan favorite property like Knights of the Old Republic. You could pull ideas,
yeah,
but not, turn the game into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Even though a Force Unleashed movie would be
That would be dope.
Or, a TV show.
Well, but new properties like that. Like, just don't Rey the Skywalkers. That's done.
Yeah, Skywalkers have been done.
You ruined that. Just can it?
And also no more Death Stars.
No
more Death Stars.
No, please.
We've already had 4. They fly now.
So, so this just kind of gives you like a baseline to where our heads are at with these movies. Just little glimpses of taste of where future episodes may go, where future talking points may be. I think this was a good intro for
I think so too.
Inaugural episode.
I'm happy to discuss these movies.
Yes.
As their own episodes. Mm-hmm. And we are going to do them in chronological order. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who are waiting on the divisive films like Phantom Menace or Last Jedi, you're going to have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and start wrapping it up.
Yeah, we can sign out.
This was our rankings of the Star Wars saga. Mm-hmm. Plus the little anthology side movies.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where this channel goes. Like we said before, we're really big Star Wars nerds. Just really excited to talk about this franchise. And if you don't agree with some of the stuff we say, that's awesome.
That's great.
Everybody has their own opinions, and that's perfectly valid. That's what makes this community great. Bunch of different ideas. If we all thought the same, it'd be a pretty boring world.
Yeah. We welcome differing opinions in healthy conversation. Don't be smirking. We want these people. Don't we want us all to be community? Do we want Star Wars to be a toxic fandom?
Oh, no.
Like how some of these other fandoms have gone?
No. But
so let's welcome healthy conversation. We can have our opinions, but let's welcome healthy conversation.
But I won't recognize garbage as good stuff.
No, I won't either. But sometimes you can find some gold. There
are little nuggets of gold spread out. But this is all Star Wars. This is all one big community. We love and appreciate you all. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're really excited to get this going and to see where this takes us.
We're losing our signal because a blizzard's coming in. So
yeah, the snowy storms and hot. They come on quick. So
yeah, I mean that's sun though.
Yeah.
But we will be broadcasting again soon to the outer rim and beyond. So until then, may the force be with you.
This is the way. This is Green Leader 88.
Blue Leader 99.
Signing off.
Signing out.
Y'all have a good one, guys.